Hey, Mortgage Coach community, Dave Savage here, and today I am with Giuseppe. I'm not going to pronounce your last name right now, Giuseppe. I'll
Battaglioli.
let you do that.
Battaglioli.
There you go. So Giuseppe is in Denver, Colorado. Giuseppe, if you could just tell everybody, how did you end 2017, and what are your goals for 2018?
Sure. So 2017, like I've heard on some of the calls already, it was a little bit of a down year, mostly due to a big sharp decline in refinances compared to 2016. Purchase volume was about the same. Our average loan was up. So I ended off the year at about 80 million and 240 loans, I think, or 230 loans.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And then you also, I can't remember exactly where you rated, but you were one of the 25 highest rated loan officers of the social survey platform. Congratulations on that.
Social survey has been great. And I know I'm seeing a lot more people using it. So I don't know if I'll be able to keep that, at least I have a head start. So I have a lot more reviews than someone who's just starting now, but that's been great. And just a great way to get, automatic reviews back into the system, and I believe it posts them to Zillow too at that time, and without us having to actually physically man the process.
Well, you're doing a great job, and you epitomize the modern mortgage professional because you use your database well. You've done over 1,000 total cost analysis. You're using technology to deliver better advice, but yet you're connecting with people. You're delivering custom personalized service like no other. So if you could just share, what are some of your focuses? What are some of the things that you're upgrading here in January, and what's your playbook for success in Q1?
Sure. So, during the last couple of weeks of the year, as I tend to do, I watched a lot of mortgage coach videos on YouTube. So Rick and Wally.
Love that.
Interviews on annual mortgage reviews are excellent. Made me look at my system and think it was just, I had all the right intentions of doing a high trust type annual review. And I did that 15 years ago, and then you get busier and you move away from that. So instead of just sending an email, I've been just sending a video over the past few years, and really have gotten lackluster results from that. And so watching those and learning some of the new technology that's out there, like to schedule calls, I signed up for Calendly, I think it's called. And it's Wednesday today. No, Thursday. No, Wednesday. What is it today?
Wednesday.
The holidays still throw me off. So I signed up on Monday, and yesterday was the first business day of the year. I think 8 new referrals came in. I replied with the email template to schedule their call, and 7 of them have already scheduled their own calls. One of them was a realtor who scheduled a face-to-face meeting using the link. So
love it.
It's only been 2 days, and I'm like telling everyone about this because just the amount of back and forth that you lose or that you don't have to do has been amazing. It just pops up right in my Outlook calendar. So that's been great. So I've kind of tweaked some of my email signatures to include that, depending on different types of activities we're doing. And then really just implementing exactly like Rick's program, where I have an email that's going to start going out next Monday. And so instead of doing them daily, I'm just going to do them once a week, batch them. So an email that goes out that will allow them to schedule a call for them, and then maybe on Wednesday do a slide broadcast call. And I'm not sure what I'm doing yet as the third follow-up, maybe another email or maybe a bomb video with also the Calendly link. So, have 3 opportunities to get something scheduled. And I don't see how it could, not improve the results that I've been getting.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think just personal messaging, have your assistant or yourself text. I mean, definitely that multi-channel approach, email, text, whatever telephony solutions that you can use compliantly. But more than one channel, more than just an email, I think is the trick. And by the way, anyone watching this, he's referring to the interview that I did with Rick Scheer. I'm going to put a link to that below. Also, I wrote a LinkedIn article on that. So kind of breaking down Rick's playbook. There's a link below on that. And then I just posted it today, so you probably haven't had a chance to read it. but I have been hearing so many success stories from Wally Elderberry, from Rick Scherer, from John Downs, from Danny Harani, now you. So I actually wrote up over the holiday an article called Making a Case for Making an Annual Review Your Number One Priority. And I don't know, Giuseppe, what are your thoughts on this? That people always think of it as just a refi strategy, like I'm doing annual reviews to get refis. And I want everybody to think differently. I think you're doing annual reviews so that you get the maximum referrals from those clients. Yeah. And you're doing the annual reviews to get purchase business to bring back to your realtors. And you're doing the annual reviews so that you're even more different and valuable to agents. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I agree completely. And I in December, I went to Todd Duncan's Sales Mastery school. And so, I mean, just that whole process and being able to generate CPA referrals, financial planner referrals, realtor insurance referrals, there's no better way than the annual mortgage review to do that. And it gives you something to talk about, because really at the end of the day, most people have probably refinanced, right? Who are going to refinance over the last, 5-6 years that rates have been really low. And in Denver, we've had several years with a lot of appreciation. So really, we're not calling them to refinance. We're calling them to make sure, we're updating our records. We know what's changed in their world, and then be able to offer. In fact, I just got off a call right now where we were reviewing a total cost analysis, and the client makes great income, but is, pretty young, and it's like, do you have a financial planner that you're working with to help you decide some of these things? And he said, no, do you do that too? I'm like, no, I don't, but I can refer you to the person that I personally use. And so we'll be sending off that email here shortly.
Yeah, and just think about it. You got a referral for your partner. You're going to get a referral back from your partner. So I want everybody to think of annual reviews as a purchase strategy, a way for you to, first of all, you're going to get purchase referrals. You're going to be able to add more value to your agents. You're going to be able to add more value to your partners. By the way, you mentioned that you just got back from a Todd Duncan event. I'm actually interviewing Todd on Tuesday. So I don't know when you're watching the recording, but the Tuesday after this recording, I'm interviewing Todd. And I know he's going to be promoting his master's program, master class, I think it's called. I'm going to put a link to that below because, I think Todd, obviously Sales Mastery is amazing. I could go on about it, but I think the course you went to and those 2 and 3 day intimate events with Todd are just game changing.
More intense than intimate, man. It was there was 3 hours of homework at night, and we were in Vegas. Yeah. We were like in our room doing homework.
Did you get value from it?
Unbelievable value. It was great. I followed a lot of his things again about 15 years ago when I started, and then just kind of tend to move away from it. And so getting refocused on that has been excellent. I actually signed up to do some coaching with them, and so just there's some offsite type events with some other top producers probably, and so I'm just really looking forward to being there with some of those folks that are doing 300, 400, 500 loans a year, and just I'm a systems guy, so I really just the tuition was I think well worth it just to learn some new systems that I can use and how to grow.
Love it. So I always say at High Trust plus Mortgage Coach, it's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's 1 + 1 = 3. So that's great to hear. Again, link down below for Todd's most upcoming program. If you're watching this, don't miss my call this Tuesday with Todd. So one last thing for everybody watching this is we're going to be doing a annual mortgage review challenge. And we actually created a text group. Thank you, Kristen Messerly, for creating that. And if you text that, every day it's going to remind you, it's going to say, hey, how many annual reviews did you do today? And if you did 0, it's going to tell you you could do better. If you did 1, it's going to say nice job. But if you do 3 or more, it's going to say you crushed it. So think of this as like a mobile accountability tool. There'll be directions down below to subscribe. And Giuseppe, let's keep this conversation going. I know you're going to be on stage at your sales rally in a few weeks. Share the results you're having with annual reviews. And one last thing, because I know you've done 1,000+ mortgage coach total cost analysis. How do you integrate that with your realtor conversations? Just how does it help you with agents? If you could just speak to that for a minute, and then we'll wrap up today's call.
Sure. So, I mean, during our initial meeting, usually, there's some part of the conversation is about communication and, buyer education, and the fact that, I'll bring up something that I probably heard on one of your calls where, a lack of buyer education is still, probably the biggest hurdle in people moving forward. And I mean, I'm sure everyone watching this gets calls all the time from young and old borrowers that still assume that, they're saving for 20% down. They have no idea you can buy a home with 3 or 5% down. And so, just being able to pull out the phone and say, well, this is how I show our clients their options, and they can make the best decision for them. We can talk through them. And if they're, out looking at homes on a weekend and they want to make an offer on a home, we can update the numbers quickly so that they know exactly what they're getting themselves into.
So folks, it's that simple. Mortgage Coach and the Mortgage Coach app are a way for you to better educate borrowers so that they have more clarity. It creates more urgency. And of course, that creates more conversion for the agent. So, hey, Giuseppe, you're always great to get on these calls. Thank you for being a great mentor in our community.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Take care, brother.